Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamasravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmana Brahmanaspata Anashunvanno Divisi Dasadanam Mahaganapataye Namaha Prano Devi Saraswati Vajinivati Dhinam Vitriyavatu Vagdevyai Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddhajnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme tayo sritva Pranamami muhurmuhuhu. Namah Shriyati Rajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukaswarupaya Swamine Tapaharine Irime Guru Vipurvam Padavakya Pramanataha Vyakhyata Sarva Vedantaha Tanityam Pranatosmyaham Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantah Punah Punaha Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahma Nidhaye Vasishtaya Namo Namaha. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. When a spiritual seeker decides to gain Atmajnanam, Vedanta prescribes qualification for gaining that knowledge. It is called Jnana Yogyata. If Atmajnanam is the goal of life, that seeker should have Jnana Yogyata, which is otherwise called Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampattihi, Vivekaha, Vairagyam, Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi, and Mumukshutva. How to gain this? Because as per scriptures, gaining knowledge is very easy if there is Jnana Yogyata. If a seeker has these qualifications, then gaining knowledge is very, very easy. So, when we are trying to gain knowledge, scriptures ask us to simultaneously prepare ourselves for that knowledge. As long as that preparation doesn't come, as long as the transformation doesn't come in our personality, in our character, in our perception about ourselves, about Ishvara, about Jagat, hearing Vedanta will be an academic pursuit. So, Vedanta scriptures always point out, prepare yourself so that this revelation will have meaning in your life. Prayojanam anuddishya mandopi na pravartate. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, without having a vague knowledge about the utility of an action, no one including a mandaha, an idiot also will not do any action, will not pursue anything. So if we are going to pursue self-knowledge, we should know what is the utility of it. That self-knowledge should make us to live our life, day-to-day life, as a free person. Mukta Jivanam. Jivan Muktihi it is called. While living, a person should feel that I am not in bondage. That is the grandest utility. Whatever may be the external situation, he will not be shaken by any of those situations. Or whatever may be his inner mental situation, then also he will not be shaken, provided if there is Atma Jnanam in his mind. So Jivan Muktihi is the prayojanam for Vedanta Shravanam. And if that Vedanta Shravanam should be useful or fruitful, the seeker should have this qualification. How to gain this qualification is the question. What are the qualifications we have studied last 30 classes? How to gain this qualification? Again, Vedanta says these are all the means to gain. Bhagavan Sri Krishna concentrates about this Jnana Yogyata Praptihi in Bhagavad Gita. More portions are with regard to Jnana Yogyata Prapti. Jnanam is very little. Subject-wise, Jnanam is very little in that shlokas. But Jnana Yogyata Praptihi is given more in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam scriptures. In Upanishad, about Jnana Yogyata, Upanishad talks about very little. Because it is taken for granted, the seeker who comes to Upanishad, Shravanam, is a matured person, is a qualified person. So the question itself is a grand question. In the last class we saw, Anyatra dharmad, anyatra adharmad, anyatra asmat krita kritat, anyatra bhutascha bhavyascha yattat pashyasi tadvad. That was the question by a seeker. To ask this question, he should have gone through so much of maturity. And to get this answer, he is rejecting Brahma Padavi. The seeker was rejecting Brahma Padavi. And the seeker was ready to go to Yamaloka. Consciously, he wanted to give up his body and go to Yamaloka. Because this question was asked in Yamaloka to Yamadharmaraja. So that means the seeker is so matured to give up anything, including his own life in the Bhuloka. When his father dissuades him not to go, he says, no, you have offered me to Yama, I will go. What you will do with Yama? So he has full planning. What is the use of going there? What is the consequence of going there? How I will have this visit as a fruitful visit. So that is the maturity of the Upanishadic student. But in Gita, the student happened to be, fortunately, Arjuna type of people. Arjuna represents all of us, Manda Adhikarinaha. Upanishad disciples represent Uttama Adhikar. Arjuna represents Manda Adhikar. What is the difference between Uttama Adhikari and Manda Adhikari? Uttama Adhikari will go for this philosophical search after the truth when there is no problem in his life. When everything is all right, he will have this search. Manda Adhikari will go for this search when he has problem in his life. Then another category is Adhama Adhikari. Even when problems are there, he will not go for solution. He will not go for solution. So, becoming Uttama Adhikari is the purpose of our Shravanam. Once we become Uttama Adhikari, gaining knowledge is a matter of time. That's all. Simple. Therefore, Bhagavan Krishna spends lots of time in explaining the method and need for this type of qualifications. So, if you go through the Bhagavad Gita scripture, Bhagavan prescribes 3 sadhanas for our whole life. He prescribes 3 sadhanas to gain this jnana yogyata. What are they? First sadhana is Ishvara Preetihi, Ishvara Prema, love towards the Lord. Second one is gaining Daivi Sampat, change of our character, gaining Daivi Sampat. Third is converting all our activities in day-to-day life as a means to get this Jnana Yogyata. Karma Yoga. Only 3 topics are dealt again and again in Bhagavad Gita. These 3 topics. One is Ishvara Bhakti, second one is Daivi Sampat, third one is Karma Yoga. These 3 are not dealt in Upanishad. Very rarely they are dealt. That's why our Sampradaya prescribes, while going through the Upanishad Shastra Shravanam, simultaneously you go through this Smriti Shastra Shravanam also. Like Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Bhagavatam. Because these 3 scriptures, along with dealing with the truth, Paramarthika Satyam, it deals. Along with that, it deals how to gain that Paramarthika Satyam as Satyam for your life. Because unless it is not useful for my life, for me, however grand it may be, I have no utility at all. Ishvara is grand. Okay, let him be grand. What is there? I am beggarly. What is the use of Ishvara being grand? So there must be some connection between Ishvara and me. So then only I will pursue. So Bhagavan says here, Manmana bhava, madbhakto, madhyaji, mam namaskuru. Mameva yeshyasi satyam te pradijane priyosime. At the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says this. Before telling this shloka, he says, Yatechasi tathakuru. He has completed entire teaching. Yatechasi tathakuru. Whatever I have told you, I have told you. Hereafter it is your life. You decide what to do. Then having left Arjuna, suddenly Bhagavan feels, if this fellow selects wrong thing again, because I have given Yatechasi tathakuru. Same thing only to the entire humanity. I have given discrimination power. I have given the sadhus to guide. I have given Shastram to reveal certain facts. But still, Yatechasi tathakuru. People are living licentious life. Like that, Arjuna also again goes for his whims and fancies. Then what to do? Then, when Arjuna was about to leave Krishna, he calls him, hey, come. I am going to tell Sarva Guhyatamam Shastram. The secret of all the Shastras. What is that secret? This shloka he says. Manmana bhava, madbhakto, madhyaji, mam namaskuru, mameva yeshyasi satyam te. He gives a promise. Pratijane priyosime. Because you are very dear to me, I am telling the secret of all the scriptures. What is that? Be devoted to me. Next shloka to this is Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shuchaha abhaya pradhanam gives. Don't worry, my dear. These 2 shlokas are charma shlokas, they are called. So one shloka dealing with gaining jnana yogyata, then another one is dealing with jnana. Sarva dharman parityajya shloka deals with jnanam. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji, that shloka deals with jnana yogyata. These 2 are, according to Bhagavan Sri Krishna, secrets of these scriptures, all these scriptures. So therefore, we have to know what is the necessity of devotion. Because there are certain group in the learners who try to bypass Ishvara who try to bypass religion, but they want to be spiritual. They want to be philosophers, bypassing Ishvara and devotion. According to our Shastra, it is impossible. You cannot bypass Ishvara when you know what is the meaning of Ishvara. In Western cultures, there are people who are available for Vedanta Shravanam, but who will not practice devotion to God, because they have their emotional problems with regard to the word God. In their culture, God has no utility in their day-to-day life. He is sitting somewhere else. Father in heaven. Father in heaven created this creation and watching you, waiting for judgment day. Being judgmental, what judgment he will give, we don't know. Just because Adam has taken one fruit, so he was given judgment, eternal hell. So that fear is there, aspect of fear with the God. And that God doesn't have any emotions other than giving punishment or reward. You cannot relate with that God, because he is Father in heaven. So Western mind or Westernly educated mind, including in India, people have these type of notions that I can bypass Ishvara and become spiritual. It is impossible. You cannot bypass Ishvara. Because the Ishvara which is revealed in our scriptures has more utility than the God talked in the other cultures. So generally in our literatures we find that Ishvara, the idea of Ishvara is translated as God. It's a wrong translation. It is like donkey is equal to, in Tamil, Kudirai. Kudirai means horse. So he is talking about something, I am talking about something. You cannot equate. Ishvara is not God. The word God has certain denotions according to them, because they have defined that word. The word Ishvara is defined in our scriptures. So both are different ideas, different concepts, different entities. As I told, God means who doesn't have any connection other than Nimittakara with the world. Other than being an intelligent cause to the creation, he created. He is a creator, that's all. Like a potter. Potter creates pot. What connection is there to the potter with the pot? Please tell, after creation of the pot. He will sell it, that's all. He has no emotional bond. But here in Ishvara, he is every moment with us. Understood? So Ishvara word should not be translated as God. But generally in our literatures, because want of words in that language. English language is the most fragile language. But what to do? Because of colonization, there is one language for communication purpose, we are using it. It doesn't have any base. It's not a classical language. Borrowed language. Like in India, Hindi. Hindi doesn't have any base at all. But our scripture is in Sanskrit language, so it has structure, base is there. So Ishvara should not be translated as God. Like Shraddha should not be translated as faith. Please understand. So many words are there like that. These words only create problems in our mind, and keeping these words only, quarrels also happen. My God is great. Your God is mean, like that. Array, it is not possible. If there is a God, there is nothing called greatness or meanness. So, we have to understand what is the meaning of Ishvara and what is the necessity of being devoted to Him. So, in our mind, the question comes, is devotion to Ishvara is a need, is it a necessity for my life? Because we find in world, in our life, there are millions and crores of people living without any concern for devotion or Ishvara. There are nations wherein there is no concept of Ishvara at all. Communist nations are there. No concept of Ishvara at all. And in their day-to-day life, there is no utility at all for being devoted to anything higher entity. So naturally, can I live this human life without Ishvara or not? I know I cannot live this human life without oxygen, without food, without water, without cloth. So I have devotion for all these things. Okay? So because I have understood that it is a need for my life. Whether Ishvara comes in this need list or Ishvara comes in the luxury list. As long as Ishvara comes in luxury list, we have option to discard him. Understood? What are the luxury list? House is a luxury, then ornaments, then vehicles, then gadgets. These are a luxury. Understood? But for human existence, food, water, oxygen, cloth. In some community, even cloth is a luxury. Okay? In some tribal communities, even cloth is a luxury. So we will keep only these three. Whether devotion comes under this basic necessity of human life. Food, oxygen, water. Shastra says, more than these three, devotion to Lord is a necessity. Without food, you can live at least 10 days. But without devotion to God, you cannot live even a moment. It's a very grand revelation it is. When I learned this some 20 years before from my Acharya, simply I was marveled. Shastra challenges. Kohyevanya atka pranyat yedesha akasha anando nasyat. Without oxygen, human life is not possible, we know. But Shastra says, without God, even oxygen breathing also is not possible for you. Even breathing the oxygen is not possible for you without God. I am again using the word God, want of word. Okay. So without Ishvara, it is impossible for you even to breathe. Without breathing, it is impossible for you to live. That we all accept. But Shastra reveals, without Ishvara, it is not possible for you even to breathe. That means what? It is the most fundamental need. That is the most fundamental entity for my existence. That's why Mother Sarada Devi says it. She was wondering how people live without remembering the Lord. She was wondering. And people are living happily without remembering the Lord whole life, even not even once. Mother is wondering how it is possible. Because for a cow, for a buffalo, it is possible to live without remembering the Lord. Because that remembering instrument is not given. The Buddhi Shakti is not given. But for a human being it is given. But still, how they manage to avoid remembrance of the Lord? That is a surprise question from Mother Sarada Devi. Because she knows that He is the most fundamental entity of our existence. Ishvara is the most fundamental entity of our existence. How people live without remembering that fundamental entity? That means what? The person who doesn't remember the fundamental entity of his existence and lives at the same time physical life, that means what? He has not yet grown as human being. Body has been changed from animal body to human body, but the mind behind that body is not yet get converted into human mind. Manushya rupena mrugaha charanti. Shastra says, in human form, animals are roaming. Human form, animals are roaming. So therefore, we should have the answer for this question. Is it a need? Ishvara prema, Ishvara pritihi, devotion to Ishvara is a need in my life, or it is a luxury? Shastra says, if you understand who is that Ishvara, what is that Ishvara, then you yourself will understand that it is a need, most fundamental need. So, it is choiceless. You don't have choice. Devotion to Lord is not a choiceful one. You cannot live human life. Not physical human life, actual human life. Now you understand? There are human beings living two types of life. One is living as actual human life. Another one is physically human life, emotionally or mentally not human life. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitunam cha samanyam etat pashubhir narana. Buddhirgi tesham adhiko visheshaha buddhya vihina pashubhis samana. What is that differentiating criterion which differentiates human life and animal life in human form? Shastra here says 4 things are common. Ahara, nidra, bhayam, maithuna. Eating, sleeping, quarreling because of fear, then progeny. Having sense pleasure and going for progeny. Common. Common for both the bodies. Both the bodies require these things as fundamental requirements. But what is the differentiating criterion? Buddhihi. The thinking faculty which is given as a blessing to humanity. If it is not used, then the life becomes animal life in human form. That's why in society we find, in newspapers we come across many news. So our life should not be at least animal life. Our life should be human life at least, whether it is going to be a noble human life, knowledgeable, wise human life. Our life must be gentleman's human life. What is the criterion to be a gentleman? Devotion to God is the criterion. Because the faculties given to human being is meant for this purpose. So Shastra gives 3 reasons for this assertion. What is the assertion? Ishvara Bhakti is the most fundamental need of your human life. It is choiceless. If you are a human being, you will find that it is choiceless. It is universal need and it is a natural need. Everyone requires this only, but he does not figure out what it is. He is not able to figure out what it is, but everyone requires this devotion only, and everyone is wanting this devotion to God. So, it gives 3 reasons for this assertion. One is Ishvaraha Priyatamaha. Why this devotion to Ishvara is the most fundamental need? If you ask, first reason is Ishvaraha Priyatamaha is the most dearest entity in your life. It is the dearest entity, therefore devotion to him. Devotion means what? Another word for devotion is love. Love towards Ishvara is the most fundamental need because he is the most dearest one. Ishvaraha Priyatamaha. Second reason is Ishvara Bhakti, love towards the Lord, is the only criterion which validates human life and human form. I told you now, Buddhihi Tesham, differentiating criteria. So if we are a Buddhiman, naturally you will understand what it is what, then naturally you will be towards the loving the Lord. So Ishvara Bhakti alone validates our human existence. Third reason is Ishvara Bhakti alone is the only source of Abhayam. To live without any fear in this world, Ishvara Bhakti is the only means. So one by one we will see. It's a deep subject and it will fulfill our heart and it will give more and more enthusiasm for performing our spiritual practices. So first reason is Ishvaraha Priyatamaha. Upanishad says, Tatetat Preyaha Putrat, Preyaha Vittat, Preyaha Anyasmat, Sarvasmat, Antarataram Yadayam Atma. Beautiful statement it is in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Putrad Preyaha, Vittad Preyaha. How Upanishad strikes human mind, you see. Human mind naturally has the love towards wealth. It has love for wealth, very natural. Why human being? Any living being has the love for wealth, what it considers as wealth. Even a rat has the love for rotten fruit, because the rat thinks that it is its wealth. Even an ant considers small grain of food as wealth, therefore only it struggles to get it and saves. So much of struggle. Why? Because love for food. Love for food means what? Love for wealth. So food is the wealth for the ant. And putrad preyaha. Love for child is very natural one for human being. Why human being? For all living being. Love for their children. That's why even if ferocious tiger catches its cub, tiger cub, it doesn't kill that cub. It is ferocious towards other animals, but towards its own cub, it is not ferocious. So the putra prema and vitta prema is natural in any living being. In human life, it is very explicitly experienced. Understood? It is experienced very explicitly. Here Upanishad says, devotion to God is greater than this priyam. Priyam to Ishvara is grander and greater than this vitta priyam and putra priyam. Understood? Putraha means, which includes wife, relationships. All types of relationships are mentioned in the word putra prema. Then vitta prema means all type of acquisitions and achievements. This Ishvara prema is more fundamental need, because anyasmat sarvasmat antarataram. Because putra is away from you. You are not putra. You have putra. So putra is a possession. Understand? Third person singular or second person singular or plural. Correct? Putra is not you. Vitta is not you. Gold is not you. Food is not you. When you have love for certain things which you are not, how can you avoid love for Ishvara? This is the question. That means Ishvara is not second. Ishvara is not second. No, he is not second. Ishvara is not different from me. No, he is not different from me. Antarataram. Antarataram means you cannot be away from Ishvara even for a moment. Now you tell whether you love yourself or not. When you say, I love myself, that is why I love my wealth, that is why I love my son, that is why I love my wife. The my is there with all love. Understood? How this my will come? Only when I is there, my will come. Correct? You don't love all children, you don't love all wife. You love only people, objects connected with this I in the form of my. Understood? Here the Upanishad says, if you have love for my, the very love for my is determined by love for I. So Putra, Vitta all come under my category. Ishvara come under I category. Now you tell whether you will love Ishvara or not. Little subtle. Anyasmad sarvasmad antarataram. They are all second entities, different from you. Whether your love will be a stable one or oscillating one, a sustainable one is the question of time. That's why initially I love you, he says. Then after 6 months he says, I allow you to go. Understood? So whether that love towards that second entity called Putra, Patni, or well, these are all subject to oscillation, subject to condition. If you are going to behave with me in this way, then only my love will go for you. It is sadhana prema. You have to practice that prema. At the beginning, after marriage, 5 days, 10 days, the fellow will not feel that he is married. So anything he eats, he will eat alone. So other has to remind you, hey, now you are married. First feed your wife, then you eat. Similar to that girl also. You cannot eat by yourself. First you feed your husband and you eat. So they are reminded. Similarly, relationship between mother and child also. I am your mummy. I am your mummy. She has to teach. Nobody can claim love, motherly love from a child, telling, she is your mummy, love me. She is your mummy, love me. Are? Child will ask, she is my mummy, why should I love you? Understood? So the connection between these two lovable entities, loved one and lovable object or person, must be established. And here the connection between the putra and the lover, father or mother, is two. Lover, object of love. Here Upanishad says, connection between you and Ishvara is not two, it is one. Antarataram. And in fact, any love you have will be in and through this love only. You have to love first Ishvara, then only you can love your putra. First statement assertion is what? It is most dearest one because it is not second person entity. Second assertion Upanishad gives is, any love you have, whether you love Vitta or Putra or wife, anything you love, it is possible only through this love, Ishvara Prema. I will give an example. There is a death. Husband died. Wife was crying. Ayyo, poitingle. You are gone. Leaving me, you have gone. A Swami who doesn't have any work like me goes and asks that mother, Mother, why you are crying? What she will tell? My husband has gone. When she says, the husband body is lying there. And for this Swami, it appears the husband is sleeping. Okay. So pointing out that dead body, the Swami asks, suppose, why mother you are crying? He is lying here. When I came yesterday to your home and asked whether Sir is there, what you told? He is sleeping. That time also his body was lying. Now also his body is lying. Why you are crying that he has left, he has left? He is lying here, therefore living, therefore don't cry. What will happen? If Swami says like this, what will happen? That crying mother will stop first crying. Okay. Then she will stare at this man, monk. Engirandu vandar ivaru? Who is this Swami? From where he has come? He doesn't know the difference between sleeping person and dead person. What she will tell? Swami, my husband has passed away. This is my husband's body. My husband has passed away. This is my husband's body. Oh, so husband's body is not husband according to you? Yes. You never loved your husband as body. Never. Understood? When the husband was living, it appears to everyone that husband is equal to husband body. Now the Swami says, Mother, you yourself tell that your husband is not your husband body. You did never loved husband body. Then what you loved? I don't know, Swami. I loved husband. Who is that husband? If husband's body is not husband, who is that husband? If husband's body is not husband, wife's body also is not wife. Child's body also is not child. Then who is that loved entity which is named as husband, wife, child? Who is that? Shastra says it is first person singular. Antarataram yadayam atma. As long as that entity manifests in this body, which you have demarcated as husband's body, you love that body. Understood? Suppose you stretch your imagination. She goes on crying like this. Okay, mother, keep it with you. Huh? Keep what? Keep your husband. Keep your husband with you. No, it is smelling, rotting on. How can I keep it and love and care a rotting one? Now you understand? What you call as putraha, what you call as bharta is not the body. It is something other than the body. What it is? What it is? Shastra says, it is Bhagavan, it is Ishvaraha, who has come in the vesha of your putraha, patni. Now you understand the concept of Ishvara as per the revelation of scriptures. There in Western culture or Arabic Semitic culture, God is not in wife. In Arabic culture, she is a bhogya vastu. Understood? She doesn't have soul at all. Even in Christianity, women don't have soul. Only man has soul. Bhagavan created Adam out of him. But Eve was created not from Bhagavan. As per Bible, as per Old Testament, the woman form is not created out of Bhagavan. Male form only was created out of Bhagavan, therefore he has soul. Female form was created out of disposable rib of Adam. Rib, you know, rib, near the chest we have ribs. It protects our heart and lungs. The rib is there, na? Out of rib of Adam, Eve was created. First woman form was created in that theology. Therefore, women don't have any rights as a human being. They are bhogya vastus. This is their culture. This is their theology. Understand? That is why even the so-called modern Western culture, voting rights was given in democracy. Voting rights was given in 1960s in Western culture. 1960s. When the world would have started, when human existence would have been there, when this culture would have been there. Voting rights was given in 1960s in Western culture. But in our culture, female human form is worshipped as goddess Devi. Why? Because according to Shastra's revelation, the Patni is the manifestation of Ishvara, the Putraha is the manifestation of the Ishvara, the Vittam which you are holding on with all greediness is also is the Ishvara's manifestation. Can you avoid? When you say, I love my wife, you naturally say, I love God. Without knowledge. Without knowledge of the statement, what you say, I love my wife, but I don't love Ishvara. When you say, that is simple prattling. This is the meaning of this mantra. Antarataram yadayam atma. Anything you love is the proof for Ishvara prema. What is the difference between conscious Ishvara Bhakta and this fellow Jagat Bhakta? We call him Jagat Bhakta. Let us call him Jagat Bhakta, one who loves the world. So what is the difference? Shastra says, whether you are a Ishvara Bhakta or Jagat Bhakta, you are actually Ishvara Bhakta only, who is in the form of Jagat. Because Jagat is not different from Ishvara. So, loving him is a choiceless one. Any love is possible only in and through the love of Ishvara. Second point. What is the first point? Ishvaraha, most dearest one. Second point is, any love is possible only through Ishvara prema. Third point is, nobody loves anything other than Ishvara. Nobody loves anything other than Ishvara. Now you understand the meaning of Ishvara. If it is understood in our mind, we will live a very happy life. There will not be any moment in our life without Ishvara Smaranam. Because Shastra says Ishvara Smaranam is the most beautiful thing, most enjoyable, relishing thing. And we are not able to understand it. When we remember our dearest one, child, wife, or money, we feel that happy. But when we sit for remembrance of God, we feel very dry and sleepy also. Many snore also. While sitting for meditation, many people snore. But sitting for food, nobody snores. While sitting for cajoling the child, nobody snores and cajoles. But when he transacts with the Ishvara, he snores and transacts. Here he is very active and transacts. With transaction with people, with objects, with especially mobile, nobody transacts with mobile snoring. But transaction with the Ishvara is mixed with snoring. Why? Boring. Why? No knowledge. So knowledge has to be always there in our action. Yad vidyaya karoti tadeva viryavattaram bhavati. When you do something, if you understand what it is and what it is for, then your action will be most fruitful act. So here the third assertion is, nobody can love anyone other than Ishvara. First one is, he is the most dearest one, so you cannot avoid him. Second one is, all love is possible in and through Ishvara only. That means Ishvara prema, then it reaches to Jagat prema. Understand? Third one is, there is no Jagat at all. Still it brings us more subtle idea. No love is possible towards anything. Nava are patyuk kamaya pati priyaha bhavati, atmanastha kamaya patihi priyaha bhavati. Yajnavalkya Maharishi says to his wife, my dear, you never loved me. What? Whole life I lived for you, doing all this tapasya and helping you for your tapasya. Now you are telling I don't love you. Yes, my dear, you don't love me. Not only you, no wife loves any husband. How is it? Don't worry. No husband loves any wife. Huh? No father loves any child. No mother loves any child. No rich man loves wealth. Like that? He brings a big list. So no love possible because there is no second love at all. Only one love is there, and that love is for Ishvara. Atmanastha kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Navare patyuk kamaya patihi priyaha bhavati. Atmanastha kamaya patihi priyaha bhavati. Navare jayayai kamaya jaya priya bhavati. Atmanastha kamaya jaya priya bhavati. Navare putranam kamaya putraha priya bhavanti. Atmanastha kamaya putraha priyaha bhavanti. Navare vittasya kamaya vittam priyam bhavati. Atmanastha kamaya vittam priyam bhavati. Navare brahmanah kamaya brahma priyam bhavati. Atmanastha kamaya brahma priyam bhavati. Navare kshatrasya kamaya kshatram priyam bhavati. Atmanastha kamaya kshatram priyam bhavati. Navare lokanam kamaya lokaha priya bhavanti. Atmanastha kamaya lokaha priya bhavanti. Navare devanam kamaya devaha priya bhavanti. Atmanastha kamaya devaha priya bhavanti. Navare bhutanam kamaya bhutani priyani bhavanti. Atmanastha kamaya bhutani priyani bhavanti. Yajnavalkya Rishi has become tired listing. He has listed Pati, Patni, Putraha, Vittam, then relatives, Brahmanaha, Kshatriyaha, relatives, then Lokas. In that list, Shastram also is there. In that list, Bhagavan also is there. Devanam kamaya devaha na priya bhavanti. Atmanastha kamaya devaha. In short, you cannot love anything without the love for the Ishvara. And you love Ishvara only in another form. You love Ishvara only in another form. Having this clarity makes our day-to-day life a beautiful, loving transaction 24/7, 365 days, 100 years if possible, as a love for Ishvara transaction. So, you love yourself, that is unquestionable one. How much you love yourself, you will understand when problems come in your life. In Bhagavatam, Narada Bhagavan experiences this one. Narada Bhagavan asked Bhagavan Krishna, everybody talks about and feared about your Maya. From my childhood, I have not encountered your Maya. Because golden spoon child of Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma, as even he is born with devotion. So one guitar was given to him, Tampura. All the time he was happy in roaming and international, intercontinental, interloka visa also. So nobody is there to question him. He never gone through any troubles of life because childhood troubles also was not there and school troubles also was not there. So Father himself, the grandest teacher, the creation, so he taught everything. So he was living whole life, happy life, roaming, and he was seeing people suffering and crying. And when he asked his Gurudev what it is, why they are crying, because of ignorance, because of Maya, like that. So he asked Bhagavan Krishna, what is the meaning of Maya? Please tell. I never encountered it. Oh, acha. I will tell you, I am very thirsty. Please go to that pond and bring a glass of water. Bhagavan told. So Narada Bhagavan went there. As he went there, he saw first sight was pond. When he was about to enter that pond, he found there is a beautiful palace wherein Swayamvara is going on. Marriage ceremony, Swayamvara, selection of bridegroom was going on, in which he also entered as a competent, and that girl has selected him and they married, and he became the Raja of that kingdom, and he was having gala time with his wife, Rani. Then many children, 7 or 8 children were born. Suddenly one day, a Raja from another country, fights with him, and he found that nobody is there to protect him. So he runs away from the palace and he wanted to cross the river to get rid of this enemy Raja. So while crossing, there was a flood and he was holding all the children along with his wife to protect. The flood current was so big and intense, he could not able to protect the children. So one by one children he is leaving. Initially he left all his palace and wealth. Okay. In the Atma Prema, because of love for himself, he has left palace. Initially he fought for that palace also. When he found he is not capable of fighting, so he left the palace along with all its wealth. Now Vitta Prema has gone. Now Putra Prema has come. Bharya Prema has come. So along with them he was trying to escape. And in that river, now the current of the river proves even Putra Prema is not sustainable. So one by one Putra he has to leave. Finally he manages to get rid of that river current. He swims and he comes to the river shore. Then he finds nobody was there. In the attempt to protect himself, he swam and came out of the river. Then he found nobody was there. Then he was crying. That time again Krishna comes and, Narada ji, I asked for water. Water you asked? What? All these things? You only ask for the experience of Maya. This is not Maya. What do you want to teach? This only I want to teach, my dear. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Love for oneself is unquestionable love. That's why all marriages happens, all divorces happens, all purchases happens, all sales happens, all pravritti happens, all nivritti happens. For what? Atmanastu kamaya. Since Atma being Ishvara or Ishvara being Atma, you cannot love anyone. First assertion is, he is most dear to you, therefore you cannot avoid. That means, dearer, dearest, lovable, lover. Dvaitam is there. Second is, you can love anyone in and through God only. In and through Ishvara only. There also Dvaitam is there. Lover, instrumental of love is Lord. Understand? Their object of love is Lord in first assertion. In second assertion, instrument of your love is in and through. You can connect with your wife mobile phone in and through service provider satellite. Understood? Even though she is near to you, when you type message to your wife that the Swami is boring so much, that typing message goes where? Not to your wife's mobile phone. It goes to server first. Understood? Who is that server? Server is someone who provides service to you. For your existence as a mobile phone, he provides service to you. If you don't have any connection with that service provider, server, you will be out of service. You will be out of service. That means what? You are a rotten entity. That is called death. You are out of service means what? You have cut off the connection between the service provider and yourself. Therefore, you are out of service. Understood? Now, any transaction between two phones of husband and wife happens only through instrumental. Understood? Through service provider. So, in the second assertion, Bhagavan is service provider. In the first assertion, Bhagavan is object of love. Then third assertion, Bhagavan is the only entity you can love. Because there is no difference between you and Ishvara. That is the revelation which we have to understand gradually. For present, we will try to understand this revelation. I love myself. I love others through Lord. And I love the Lord. 3 stages. First one is, I love the Lord as an object. In and through the Lord, I love Jagat also. Second. Third one is, I cannot love anything because there is no second entity. I love, if at all I love myself. That is a sign for my love for Ishvara. That is Jnani's love. Understood? That is Jnani's love. So more about the necessity of this devotion we will see in the next class. 3 reasons I told. Only one reason I have given. What is the reason? Antaratamaha, most dearest, in 3 stages. First one is, Ishvara is the most dearest than your son or wife or father or mother. Understood? Second one is, he is the most dearest one, being the instrumental, being the service provider for the object of your love, Jagat. Third one is the most dearest, because he is the most nearest, because you are not different from him, you happen to be Ishvara himself. This is the first reason. Second reason, Ishvara Bhakti gives validity for human life. Third reason, Ishvara Bhakti alone is a source of abhaya. So first reason only we have seen today's class. Okay. We will see other 2 reasons in the next classes. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
तमसो मा